Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today we are looking at percentage increase and percentage decrease. Now, technically speaking, this is Year 7-8 content, but certainly Year 9 is good to revise, particularly going into financial mathematics. So first of all, we know what a percentage is. This is part of our fractions, decimals, and percentages unit that we've done previously. So for example, we can take a fraction like, let's say, 3/5, and we can turn that into a decimal. If we often do that, we might double it to make it 6/10, and that means that we can say it's 0.6 as a decimal. Both of these, of course, can be transferred into a percentage by technically timesing it by 100 or by putting it as a fraction over 100. Either way, this would be an answer of 60%. 60%. So we know that 6/10, 0.6, and 60%, they're all the same number. They're just written in a slightly different format. Now, when we are looking at percentage increases or decreases, primarily we're looking at percentages, but when using our calculator, we can use the different forms if we so choose. So, if we get a question, something like, it might be increase, I'll use a nice easy number for us. Increase, let's say $500 by 10%. We could be decrease it by 10%, or it could simply be find 10%. Now, either way, there are different methods of choosing or working through this question. If I want to find 10% of 500, hopefully we know we can simply say 10% times 500 on our calculator. We also, because it's an easy number, we could divide it by 10 to say it's $50. But that would work either way, with or without the calculator. Now, of course, we could say 0.1 times 500. We could say 10 over 100 or 1 over 10 times by 500. These will all generate that same answer of $50. Sorry. Of course, if you know this without the calculator, you can do it very quickly using your non-calc method, particularly for NAPLAN in Year 9, that's important. But certainly for the harder questions like 17% or 6%, the calculator is absolutely okay to use. Of course, when it says to increase, well, that means to get bigger. So that means I would add it on to the initial $500, which in this instance would give me $550. If it said to decrease, that means to get smaller. So we would subtract it from the original amount. So 500, subtract the $50, which would be $450. And that's pretty much the nitty-gritty of it. So what we're going to do today, guys, we're going to be going through a total of 7 questions. But I thought if you want to pause the video and actually go through those questions yourself and then let me run you through it, then you're most welcome to. So hit pause, or otherwise just follow on the video. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. Find 20% of $60. Now, of course, we could simply say 20% times 60. Okay, or we could find 10% if we're doing a non-calc method and say, well, 10% is $6, therefore 20% will be double $6, which in this instance is $12. Of course, you might use a decimal, 0.2 times 60. You might even say 20 over 100, or you might say 1/5 times 60. Either way, it will still give you that $12. We weren't increasing and decreasing, so that's my answer. The next one says to increase $800 by 10%. Well, again, we can say 10% times 800 on our calculator, or we can just say 800 divided by 10 because it's a nice number. And that would give us, of course, $80 in either instance. Now, in this question, it does ask us to do one more thing. It says, let's not just find the 10%, but it wants us to increase it by 10%. Increase, of course, means add. So we're going to take our $800, we're going to add on that extra $80, and we get a nice answer of $880. Now, for our 5.2 boys, that will mostly be your method. Even for a lot of the 5.3 boys, that will be your method too. Now, for some of the more advanced students, however, you might look at having a multiplier, or an automatic multiplier. You think if you're increasing something by 10%, well, what you actually have, that $800 is what we'll refer to as 100% of the price. The $80 is actually 10% of the price, which means in total, what you're actually looking at is 110% of the original price. So if we're increasing it, what we could have done very quickly, instead of doing 10% times 100 times by 800, we could have said 110% times $800. We could have said 1.1 as a decimal times by 800. And what that would have done that would have automatically increased your number by that 10%. Now, those who are in 5.3 would be a really good idea to try and use that one multiplier. But for most other boys, you will find the percentage first, and then you'll either plus it or you'll subtract it. Okay, you have some options there. Next question, question 3. Hopefully you went okay in this question. This one, it says to decrease it by 10%. So I'm going to use the exact same method. I'm going to say 10% of 650, or whatever percent the question might ask for. In this case, it's just going to be $65. Of course, you can just knock a zero off because it's 10%. It's an easy number. I'm going to decrease it this time. So therefore, I'm going to have my $650, but I'm going to take away the 65. Okay, and I can do that pretty quickly. It's going to be what, 600 take away 15. If I take the 60 away originally, 50 away, sorry, and that's going to be $585. Okay, but your calc will be very quick on that. Now, for those who are more advanced, looking at for that instant multiplier, well, if you've got 100% of your price and you're decreasing it by 10%, that means you're subtracting 10% of the price. That means in total, what you're looking at is you're finding 90% of the actual price. So if you simply said 90% times 650, or if you want to use a decimal, 0.9 times 650, that would have automatically decreased your price by that 10%. Again, for the 5.3 boys, this is the method that we want you to start pushing to. It's slightly more advanced. For the 5.2 boys, okay, probably best to stick with that one at the moment. And for those who are struggling a little bit with this concept, stick with the first method. It's really easy to use. It's just that harder method there, more advanced method, can be good in high-level mathematics. Okay, question 4, increase $80 by 5%. Now, I've simply used a slightly harder number, of course. You wouldn't do much different if you're using a calculator. We're simply going to be doing 5% of $80 to get our answer. Now, that should come up to be approximately $4. No real difference using a calculator. If I'm not using a calculator, slightly different method. Not really though, is it? So we're kind of finding 10% of $80, which is $8, and then half of 10% is 5%, so half of $8 is $4. It's quite easy. Find that 10% originally and then work from that amount. Now, of course, we're increasing $80 by this amount, so 80 plus that $4 equals a total of $84. Okay, hopefully you got that answer. Now, of course, if you're looking for an instant multiplier, you'd be looking at 105% times 80, or as a decimal, okay, 1.05 times 80. That would both generate your answer to be $84. Example 5, we start getting into that part B style of question, that working mathematical, a bit of words around it. We have to look for the mathematics, of course. A bottle of water is $4. If the price is increased by 10% and then decreased by 10%, is there a price change? Now, most boys in year 7, 8, and I guess in a little bit in year 9 will probably say no. Even if you ask your mum and dad at home, they might say no, of course. You added 10%, you took 10% away, therefore you have no change. But let's actually have a look at this. What is 10% of $4? Well, 10% of $4, okay, is going to end up being, well, that's 400 cents, right? It's going to be 40 cents. Okay, or $0.4. Okay, that's what our amount's going to be. So I'm going to increase my amount by that. So I'm going to add that on to my $4. So I now have a total of $4.40. That could well be GST, couldn't it? That's what the GST is, 10%. But then we're going to decrease the price by 10%. Well, what's 10% of $4.40? Okay, well, what you might look at that and say, well, that's going to be just 44 cents this time. Okay, 44 cents. Now, if I'm going to take 44 cents away, what's going to happen here? Well, $4.40, take away 44 cents, 0.44, we are left with $3.96. Therefore, we do in fact have a change. So we can't just say I'm going to add 10%, take 10% away, therefore 0% change, because the percents that we're calculating are of different amounts. The original one is off the $4, but then we get this new amount when we've increased it. It's $4.40. So when I find 10% of that amount, okay, it's not going to be exactly the 40 cents that we found originally. It's a harder question, definitely a working mathematical question, but it's both 5.2 and 5.3. You could also work out what the percentage change would be for the 5.3 boys, saying that there's a 4 cents difference. So 4 cents over the initial $4 times it by 100 will kind of go from there. And you can see that that's got that 10% change or thereabouts. Okay. Example 6, we have a bike. It's worth $1,600. We have a 10% sale is on, but it offers a further 10% if it's paid in cash. What's the cash price of the bike? So in this case, again, a lot of you are going to want to say, let's find 20% of $1,600. I'm going to tell you we can't do that. Okay, we can't just combine the two percentages. Similar to that last question, we want to find 10%, first of all, of that $1,600, which of course is $160. It's on sale, which means we're going to take that off the original price. So if I do my $1,600 and I subtract the 160, okay, we're going to get 1,000. We're going to, what's that? Going to be $440, I believe. Okay. Now, we could have also simply said 90% times 1,600, and that would have given me that answer as well if we're doing that slightly more challenging kind of way of doing things. Either way, I've subtracted that 10% off the original price. But if I pay cash, I'm going to get a further 10%. So now the next 10% is going to be calculated off that new amount. Now, in this case, 10% of $1,440 is going to be $144 this time. I'm going to take that off the actual amount. So I'm going to type in 1440 and I'm going to subtract off that the $144. And this instance, I'm going to get a total of $1,296. And that bit there, I'm going to highlight that in yellow. That is my cash price. Now, of course, we could have done the same thing and said 1440 times 90% again, and that would have brought up that 1,296. Now, in fact, if you're in 5.3 and you're really trying to push things a little bit, you could have taken your original price of 1,600 and simply times it by 90%. That decreases the first time, and then you could times it by 90% a second time, and that would also give you $1,296. Okay, so two different methods you could do there, but both generate that same answer. You'll notice if you found 20% of $1,600, it would not have been the same answer and would have been incorrect. So be very careful when we start combining multiple percentages or multiple discounts. We've got to do each one individually before we do the final answer. Now, the next part is more of a 5.3 question. What is the combined percentage change? Well, we started with $1,600, and now what we have is $1,296. So what I'm actually looking for here is the actual change. What is the loss, I guess you would say, that we have actually accumulated here? And that would be $304. So my discount is actually $304. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my $304, which is my discount, over the original price of $1,600, and any fraction to a percentage, we should remember, we simply times it by 100. So I'm going to type in my calculator, 304, we're going to divide it by 1,600. It would be a calculated question, nothing else, okay? It would not definitely be by hand. And then I'm going to times that by 100%, okay? And we come out with a total of 19%. So you can see if I combine the two percentages of the original part of the question, I've got 20% discount. In fact, I've only got a 19% discount here. And so that for me, it is a more challenging question, okay? But to be honest, all you're looking for is the discount that you've got in the total, and then put that over the original price times by 100. Okay, I know it's going to be a long lesson today. We only have about another 30 seconds to go. I bought a PS5 for $750. The price included a 10% discount for members. Okay, slightly different question. So I've got my amount, which, let's call that X dollars, right? And it's been already increased by 10%. So it's been times by 110% already, and my answer got me $750. Now this would be a 5.3 question. You can see there, I'm using that automatic multiplier. Okay, you could say I've got 100%, I add on the 10%, therefore I've got 110% of the whole price. So technically speaking, what I've got is 110% of X dollars, and that equals 750. Now, what I want is I want 100%. I don't want that 110%. So what we're going to do, we're going to find what 1% of X is. So how do you go from 110 to 1? You might remember this is the unitary method. Okay, I'm going to divide it by 110 because 110 divided by 110 is 1. Okay, so on my calculator, I'm going to type in 750. I'm going to divide it by 110. And I get an answer at the moment of $6.8181 recurring. It's going to go on forever. Now, I want 100% of the price. So all I now do is I times my value by 100. I'm going to get 681.8181, which gives me a total value of $681.82. When, remember, when we're dealing with money, we always do 2 decimal places. Okay, that's a unitary method question. Often what I'll do, I'll say 110% equals, I'll say 1% equals, and I'll say 100% equals, and do it that way. And then my working out is pretty much exactly the same as the left-hand side. Okay, as you can see there, it works out pretty much the same. Unitary method for those kind of reverse dollar questions. We can do it for discounts. We can also do it for it's already been increased. We want to find the original price. Look, that's 7 questions that realistically that covers you for most of the stuff that you need to go through for percentage increase and decrease. This is going to set you up for the remainder of our unit, which is of course at the moment is financial mathematics. If you have a bit of time left over now, go through and actually answer some of the questions that I've set for you. Apart from that, if you have any questions, shoot it through Canvas. Have a wonderful day otherwise.